beta events for the Gundam card game are finally underway. So with that in mind, I'm going to walk you guys through everything you need to know to be ready for your beta event. And then myself and Koz are going to run you guys through an example gameplay to see what a sealed version of the beta format will play out like. This is your beta box and is what you are going to be opening at your event. Very beautiful box for what it's worth. I think it's one of the best things that Bandai has ever produced. So you got this little sleeve that you can kind of take off once you've got the plastic wrapping off, and then you've got this nice clean white box. You open the box and right away what you'll see is the guaranteed LR. So the way that the pack distribution is going to work is that you have 16 packs, of which on average you're going to get one of every LR within those 16 packs. Additionally, you get one additional LR that's just for free. So for me, I got the RX-78. So effectively, when you're looking at your sealed pool, you're going to be working with 3 LR options, which realistically is 2 because your deck can only be 2 colors, plus the additional one that you get from the pack. I do think that oftentimes these cards are strong enough to force you into a color one way or another, but there's a lot of really strong cards in green that are at the common and uncommon slot that I think warrants taking a look at. So you get your guaranteed LR, however you want to do with that, you can put that to the side. Then you get this little weird play sheet. Oh, right. So this is what it is, like a blueprint of like how the box is laid out. So you got your dice, you got your packs, and then you got your additional cards in there. So we'll go ahead and put that aside. If you're unsure about the rules of the Gundam card game, everything that you need is just right here. So you guys can utilize that however you need to. And from there you get the rest of your box. So this is actually supposed to be flipped this way. So like you'll notice, you'll actually get the 6 dice right there. And then you get your packs, which will be here. Mine are opened because this is my open box from Houston. And then you get your preset cards right there. So your preset cards give you a pilot, 2 different units, as well as 2 bases. And something to note is that the cards that come in here aren't available in your pack. So we won't be able to go 4 up on any of the pilots that we get from there. In terms of taking a quick peek at the pack, things to take of note. I did talk about how you want to deck build your beta edition in the video linked right over there if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. However, alternatively, we can just take a quick peek right here. So the big highlights, if you're going to play blue, Amuro Ray is a phenomenal pilot. I think the rest of the blue cards are kind of whatever, but if you're playing in blue, you do definitely want to be able to play for Amuro Ray. When we ship over to green, the vanilla is actually not bad. Hero works really well if you have Wing Gundam. Obviously, he only really pairs with Wing Gundam. There's no overlapping in terms of the green cards that can link into other units of other pilots. So it is very specifically that if you find yourself having enough Wing Gundams, then you would go ahead and play it. Otherwise, I think St. Gabriel Institute is a fine base in terms of something that you get out of the box. Zaku 1 is terrible. Don't play it. Then looking at white, you get, we'll just skip over to Kira. Kira is probably the strongest generic pilot in the game. Very powerful. And it works with any unit. So because of that, there's a lot of incentives to be able to play white just because you get the benefit of having the strongest pilot in the game. The biggest reasons to go into other colors, blue obviously gets card draw. So if you find yourself having a bunch of show of resolves, I think that's a fantastic place to go there. In terms of green, if you find yourself getting a bunch of Shenlongs and Wu-Feis and Zaku 2s, those lend themselves to a very powerful green core that I think can surpass the fact that you may not have a bunch of Wing Gundams. And then white is just solid, right? You get your overflowing affections and all of those other effects. So I think if you already have that built in without having anything amazing elsewhere, you can definitely go that route. The rest of your pack is just a bunch of tokens. Your resources, do look at your resources, however, because there are some very, very rare boxes where you get a chance of getting foil resources, where all 20 of these will be foil. Very cool. I've only ever seen them in person once before. So that's what you get out of your guaranteed kit. And then of course we'll go into the packs. And I think what I did is I put the rares in here, but we can take a good look at what I pulled from my packs so that you guys can get a proper idea in terms of what good pulls are and what you guys should be on the lookout for. So taking a quick look through here, Show of Resolve, incredibly powerful card for blue if you get multiple of them. The added consistency in what is a non-constructed format is a really big deal. Gelgoog is pretty fantastic if you end up getting your hands on some Chars or anything in terms of like Xeon stuff. Bases, generic. Rigdom, Breach. It's a vanilla that effectively also has piercing. So anything with Breach is honestly super good. Guntank. I love Guntank. Fantastic. What is it? A common? Uncommon to be able to find. Darabalde, great in white. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so Zaku 2 is one of the most powerful, actually the most powerful turn 1 play you can make in the game in terms of getting the tempo on your side and making your opponent, forcing your opponent into certain plays, which can like hopefully climb them back, but it's very tough to do. So Zaku 2, I think if you're in green, you play 4 of no matter what. And let's see what the rest of our pulls look like in terms of anything. Shenlong, extremely powerful. It is a common. I think Wu Fei himself is an uncommon, potentially still a common. Powerful core that can kind of run away with the game. Probably the most powerful thing you can be doing at the common and uncommon slot. So if you end up getting a lot of Shenlongs and a lot of Wu Feis, that's definitely something you want to look into in terms of what you want to build your deck with. Overflowing's naturally powerful. Here we got another Shenlong, and then just kind of perusing through the rest of the list here. Another Show of Resolve, which really wants us to push into blue. And then of course we'll take a look at the rares I had put aside in the pack as well. So another Rick Dom, but what we're really looking for is see if we have enough Wu Fei. So there's one Wu Fei. So if we keep on going, see what we can find. 2 Wu Feis, 3, another Shenlong, which is good. We've only had 2 Shenlongs. Okay, another Zaku 2. So once again, another powerful part of that green core. 3 Shenlongs. So we're on 3 and 3 at the moment. And it looks like that's probably where we're going to chill. But a 3 Zaku 2. So it looks like we have a 3-3 split, which I think is arguably strong enough to be able to kind of go in that core, you know, in the mix where you have the Rick Doms, the guaranteed Wing Gundam. So then commons, uncommons aside, those are the things you want to look into. Hawk and Vendimians, okay. In terms of white, anything with Strike Gundam is pretty decent because obviously it has that link synergy with Kira, which is one of the most powerful pilots in the game. Taking a peep here, here we have obviously the one of every LR. So you're typically, from what we've seen so far, guaranteed one of each of these. So at least you have one powerful card to kind of guide you whichever way you want to go. We have 2 Intercept Orders, 1 Perfect Strike Gundam, 2 Unicorns. I would not recommend Unicorn simply because in terms of the pilot options and what the payoff is for getting the combo off with Benager, I don't think it's strong enough to justify at the moment versus doing anything else. Then we've got ourselves a Gun Cannon. We've got 2 Aerials, which I don't think is phenomenal in this format. We've got Citizens Take Stand, we got Charzaku, another Sandrock, and a Witch and the Bride. So as far as I'm looking here, I don't have an amazing white core from what I kind of saw through here. We definitely have a world with green, however. We have the Charzaku 2, which is generically good. So I'm leaning towards a green-blue build. But of course, assuming the green core isn't there for you, I think blue-white is a fantastic option just off the back. That you have Amuro Ray, you've got Kira, and those are the strong base in terms of being able to build your deck to being something that's really potent out of the gate. So what I'll say is that I think if you're not going to be playing green because your green core isn't super strong, I think just doing any deck that works with the shell of these 2, which are very generic, very splashable pilots into cores that, you know, Amuro's got a bunch of linked targets. Kira's got a bunch of linked targets. Those are strong enough to be able to carry you through your sealed pool if you do not want to play green. With that in mind, using just my beta kit, let's see what deck I come up with. All right, so I was able to lock it down to a 50 green blue core. Now there actually were a decent amount of white options in which if I wanted to go white, I could go there. Had a lot of things like Garibaldi and a bunch of just good strike Gundams in that kind of like middle ground range. But nevertheless, just to keep on going with it, saying that we decided to go green-blue. Effectively, what I've done is I've broken it down into different pilot piles just to get a sense of what their cores are, and then broken it down to bases, utility, and then commands. For reference, I think you should be aiming to have about ballpark 10 pilots, about 4 to 6 bases. When it comes to orders, I would say it really depends. I'm on 5 at the moment. I think you don't really want to go more than that in terms of this game. If you're in white, you can kind of get away with having a little bit more just because of overflowing affection. But just know that commands, with the way that the game plays out in the end game, can end up being very bricky. Things like Witch and the Bride only end up hitting things with 5 or less HP, which means you can't time against a Wing Gundam appropriately or whatever. So either way, to kick it off, we do have the included core of Hero, as well as Wing Gundam and the Wing Gundam LR. I do only have 1. So we want to play 2 Kira for the best chance to be able to get this play off, because this is still the most powerful thing you could be doing in the game. However, because we want to make sure that Hero isn't kind of just a dead pilot in our hand, we included the vanillas here to kind of flesh that out. Wu Fei is probably our strongest reason to be in green. He has a paired ability that during your turn, if this unit has breach, it can receive battle damage from enemy units with 3 or less HP. And given how board centric, not only sealed as a format is, but just the game is in terms of what the beta format provides, extremely powerful pilot. And do note that it does work with the Wing Gundam. So if you have the Wing Gundam and you don't have Hero, but next turn you can slap a Wu Fei on it, that's incredibly powerful because now your Wing Gundam is extremely healthy. It ends up being a something along the lines of a 6/6, which is incredible. It's still fantastically statted, and it'll stay a 6/6 because of the fact that it took no damage. So Wu Fei incredibly strong. We got 3 Wu Fei. 4 Shenlongs, which has Breach 3 and actually links with Wu Fei, which is powerful. And then Rigdom is just a 3/3 with Breach 2, so it'll breach on its own even without it, and if we slap Wu Fei on top of it because it does have breach, all the better. Moving on to, I guess we'll do a Char first. Char leans into the Xeon stuff. It allows us to be more aggressive. I did only get 1 Char Zaku, but what I really like is the fact that it can give high maneuverability on link pairings. And because Char is a Xeon, he actually does link with Gelgoog, which actually gives us 5 high maneuverability targets, which I really, really like. And then if it's a link pair, it actually gets the additional AP, which is nice because that gets Char to 5, means it can break bases, meaning it can kill more units. It gets Gelgoog to 6, which means like if you're attacking into a Wing Gundam, there's a good chance you could take it out. So in that front, 3 Char, filling it out with 4 different Xeon cards. If I had another Gelgoog, I would max out on Char Zaku if I had more than 1. There's an argument to be had that because of how few units I have, you go down a Char, but I do just like having that there for the late game and giving myself more hits, right? The more burst hits you take from your life, the more card draw that is. It just kind of sucks that usually that's in the form of cards that you can't play out, but effectively you will be so much further ahead than your opponent if you're constantly bursting pilots back to your hand and then all you're really into top deck are your units. Then on the blue side, we have the inverse, in which we have probably way too many units for how many pilots we have. We do only have the 2 Amuro Rays, and then the links that we got from there are the 2 LR RX-78s. We've got a pair of Vanillas, a pair of MA forms, and then 1 Gun Cannon. I don't love Gun Cannon. I think it's a very okay card, but there are some situations that in the late game where you're gonna want a Gun Cannon, put an armor around top of it, rest 2 things, and then breach into them, attack into them. So there are some scenarios in which it actually really comes up and is nice to have. The benefit here is we do have a lot of units, but technically RX-78 during a pair ability works with any pilot, which means that we can throw on anything on top of it if we have a spare just to get his buff ability, which allows us to break into more things. As far as the vanillas goes, it's a 2-drop 3/4. It's not phenomenal, but they're not bad stats either. I do wish this was a 4, but I'll take that hit in terms of AP just for the fact of having another link target for Amuro. So that's everything we got in terms of what our pilot packages are. We do actually have some more units here. So in terms of utility units, things that aren't there specifically because they feed into a piece of a strategy, but because they're just good pieces. Zaku 2 is the best turn 1 play for player 2 in the game. It just provides you a bunch of tempo. It's a 1/2 that when attacking, it gets an additional 2 AP, which gives it much more attack, so it's much more versatile there. Gun Tank, I only got 2, which sucks, but we do with what we got. And then we've got Maganak as a 2-cost 2/2 that just has 3 attack. You just want enough early plays to be able to get on the board. If I had another one, I probably would throw in another one in there. Then we've got our bases. In terms of bases, I kind of decided to spread it out. So we've got 3 Falmels in terms of being the best ones. And then in terms of our later game, I do like St. Gabriel specifically because we have Show of Resolve. And I like the ability that in the late game, I can go Gabriel's Institute, stack the top of the deck in terms of digging for something that I need, then going Show of Resolve and going from there. It is a super late game play, but it's something that I personally have enjoyed doing. We've got White Base as a super late game in terms of just being able to throw down, start generating bodies, and then it's nice having a base that's able to provide us with additional units, and if it survives a turn, we're actually able to do that again, which is super slick. And then finally 3 Falmels. If we're able to play this on our turn, we get a token. If it goes on our opponent's turn, we just end up getting a free base, which is nice to have. And then finally, in terms of our commands, I'm rocking 3 Show of Resolve. In a sealed format, I would probably do 4 potentially, depending, but I think 3 is perfectly fine where you want to be. End games tend to be top deck heavy, so being able to have the additional card draw is huge. And then I'm slotting in 2 intercept orders. I pulled 2 of them. They are rare, be mindful of that, so kind of slot in whatever cards you may have pulled yourselves, but I think in terms of just being able to catch my opponent off guard, we're playing with a green core, so being able to intercept order, rest mode their stuff, and then do the Wu Fei stuff to attack into them, I think is extremely powerful as well. So that is a playline that I like having. And look, I like having options on my opponent's turn. It's not phenomenal, but just off the fact that on my opponent's turn, I can go and rest 2 things that like 2 tokens or something that may threaten to close out the game to maybe give me an inch and being able to win the game back, I personally like having in my back pocket. So in terms of having the full deck laid out, there you go. All the ratios that you might consider. Like I said, things that you may want to consider are just your curve. Look at what options you've gotten in your sealed pool and go from there. In terms of cards that I considered adding, let me just separate the pile here. There's quite a few blue cards that I looked into as well. A lot of the green cards are really solid if they have breach or whatever. Rizel is just a very solid vanilla. It's a 2-cost on level 3/4/3. That's a really, really solid stat line. So something I considered there. Also G-Fighter. If you're noticing that a lot of people around you are building white blocker, having G-Fighter as a unit that can come down and either give itself high maneuver or another one of your white base hive maneuver is another way to be able to fight through blocker spam if you get into the really late game. So it's a little sneaky. It's not phenomenal, but it's a card that I personally enjoy at teching if I know I'm going up against that kind of strategy. With all that in mind, let's see what Koz has cooked up.
Cosmic here, and for our beta box, we opened up with the Wing Gundam as our box topper, and I immediately knew this was going to be the centerpiece for the deck as long as our green cards held up, because it is just such a strong card in the limited environment. So when we looked at our green cards, we did get things such like Shenlong Gundam. We got 3 Wu Fei as well, very strong mid-game or early to mid-game action plan that allows us to clear the board, get some extra damage in. We had Wing Gundam Bird Mode just for extra resources, help us ramp up a little bit. And then Foul Mail was another key piece that allows us to get a token, right? Just having that 3/1 body to clear up the board and make sure that we can survive long enough to get to our Wing Gundam, I thought was very important. But of course, the other part of this comes down to consistency and how are we really getting there, you know, game after game. So I haven't really got a chance to play a lot of blue yet or really dig into the blue card, so I wanted to start there, and I looked at, we had the Unicorn Gun that lets us recycle the pilot to go with it to let us draw some cards, and then other than that, we only got 2 of the Gundam MA form, which is like the only other draw piece besides a Show of Resolve, so our blue pool overall was looking a little bit weaker. I do think Gun Tank, the ping version, is really strong in this environment because probably a lot of people are going to be playing Foul Mail, but ultimately I decided to go with white because we have the 4 Overflowing Affection, and just getting the Strike Gundam, the 3/3 draw a card, discard a card, also just has a nice stat line and allows us to just filter through the deck even more. And then of course just having the interaction through Hawk, we opened up 2 of A Witch and a Bride, really just giving us more interaction on our opponent's turn was also a really key decision in this game plan that we wanted to put together. So really, it's all about finding those early to mid-game wins where we can get the Shenlong in play, clear a couple things, get rid of a base, get rid of a shield or 2, and then really just ride home the victory of Wing Gundam being the absolute powerhouse that it is in this beta box environment.
1, 2, 3.
It's slow, but yeah, I'll keep. Don't forget my X base. Alrighty. Good to go.
Yep.
Draw. Go. Dude, how how am I so good at drawing this card? There's only 2 of them in the deck.
Draw resource overflowing. Probably don't need the second. Bird pass.
Draw. Resource. Maganak, which is a 3/2. Go ahead.
We're gonna do another overflowing.
Sure.
Boy, howdy, do we love filtering this game. Good lord. Jesus, sure. Wait, did I not? Oh, I do have that in my hand. Damn.
So if you look at the bottom right of the cards, some of them will say LR. You can just like auto pitch those because they're like so late game. It's so early.
Yeah, low rating, low ranked, right? That's what it stands for. No, I just have to make some pairs in my hand to not give too much away, just to figure out what the sequencing is going to look like. Doesn't help that I drew into a the third, excuse me, Overflowing Affection.
Doesn't that help you though?
No, I would like to filter more. Damn, I guess it's going to be a Wu Fei.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Overflowing. Okay, well that, sure. Well, now I feel dumb. How it always happens. Pass to you.
Hey, he top decked the Shenlong.
Yeah, yeah.
3. Still an awkward number for me, which sucks, dude. Maganak goes in.
Yep.
Dude, how do I have 0 play? Go. Oh, yeah.
Because the joke all along.
I guess it's my fault I kept this hand. Okay, cool. Yeah, we love that.
Kill it, breach 3.
Whoop.
Pass.
Draw. Resource.
Yeah, I don't know how to break it to you, but just turn pass is just not a good spot to be.
Yeah, thanks.
With my triple overflowing affection start.
Kinda have to just play on Shenlong and pass there.
Sure. Draw. Would you believe I hit another Shenlong after just not seeing them for 2 games straight? That is.
I would, yeah, actually.
Bird mode.
Sure.
And then 5.
Yep. MA form.
Back to you.
Draw. Institute.
Yep.
These two. Then we'll go catch Char. Shenlong.
Aw. Boo.
Yeah. Nah, to hell with your Endymion. And then we'll Shenlong into Shenlong.
Yep.
And breach.
Oh yeah, sorry. Forgot about the other part. Another Shenlong.
Wow.
Yippee!
And then I got 2 standing. That'll be yours.
All right. Draw resource. Sure, we'll just start with base.
Yep.
And token. We will save the 1 just in case. And just do a Shenlong.
Yep.
And pass to you.
End of turn, I'll intercept orders. Rest mode, the 2 of those.
Yep.
Draw a 3 for Gundam. Then pay 2 for Ray on top of that.
Spoiler, everything's already rested.
Yeah, but that's fine. We'll go Gundam into Shenlong.
Yep.
Take 4. Gonna pay 1 to gun tank the token.
Ah, boo. Boo hiss on this man.
And then end of turn, I'll heal 2.
So what are the stats currently on the Gundam?
So it's currently a 5-3.
6.
Man.
End
What are
of
we
the
talking?
Gundam.
The Gundam?
End.
Alright.
Yep.
Take 5, and then breach.
Yep. And then I'll hit a shield.
Yep, I took down the Gabriel. Oh, okay, you're swinging into the shield.
With,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Maganak.
and then a pass to you.
Cards in hand?
5.
Gonna go Char on the gun tank. Attempt to go into the Wing Gundam.
What are its stats?
2-3.
Yeah, I just have to use the hook.
Go 4 for my own wing, and then go ahead.
My base is in danger.
Eventually.
Where'd it go? 2 for a strike Gundam, which allows me to draw 1, discard 1.
Yep.
Rid of that, I guess. I have 5. Yep. 1, 2, plus 2. Yeah. 2 in a base. Or 2 in a life, I should say.
I will pay 2 intercept orders to rest mode the strike dagger.
Thrust, what you said?
The strike dagger, yeah. Oh, I guess I can technically. What's the health on? I can do both. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, in its hand, it's only 1, right? It's burst, that's 2?
No.
Or is it the other way around?
No, the burst is 1, but has a higher HP threshold.
Oh, okay.
Whereas this one can actually hit 2.
Yep, there you go then.
Holy. And then hit the Zericdom.
Okay. Well, at least it wasn't a base, I guess. That's supposed to make me feel better at some level. Shenlong, and then the Michaelis, which is a 4/4.
Yep.
And pass.
Okay. Draw. Resource. Go ahead and start by paying 3 for Show of Resolve. Draw. 2.
Yep. You can take out whatever you want.
Yeah. Into the Shenlong. And breach.
Yep. Falmel is gone.
3 for Shenlong with Wu Fei over the Wing Gundam.
Yep. Or it's based on HP, not attack, right?
No, it's based
Or
on
which one?
attack. It's based on attack. So like I will lose my Shenlong.
Okay.
Yeah. And then breach.
Yep. That. Nothing.
YOLO. Go ahead.
Resource. Aerial. Into Soletta.
Done.
Pretty fitting for me. Unfortunately, I can't get to 5 in any meaningful way in case there is something. So no matter what, you're potentially eating 2 attacks. So go into life, because you only have 3 left, right? Or 2 left, sorry.
I only have 2 left. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely go into life.
So what do I do with this Falmel? Because technically, what really needs to happen here is that this one needs to be a shield, right?
To be a base, yeah.
Or to be a base.
I mean,
think
it's still stopping 2 attacks and forces me to rest my board.
Well, no, because like, let's say I do this and I actually take this one. It only takes.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I guess my only out is to just hope that there's another base. I mean, it's not impossible. They're in there, so.
Yeah.
No.
Aerial for game.
Yeah, I think the overflowings are super strong in terms of just like, I mean, it's one thing to see like 3 of them in the first 2 turns, but
Yeah. No, and that's like, I do have, it was double, what was it? Or no, it was single Shenlong, double Wu Fei. And I'm like, I haven't been drawing them all game. And then, of course, I see literally all 4 Shenlongs that game.
yeah.
I just have to
I will
discard
say
the pilot.
pitching the Wu Fei is kind of crazy when you only have like, well, I guess it depends. How many of them are you running?
4. I
okay.
did get a set of them.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm like, I have I have 2 in hand and 1. I have a 4/4. I was lucky enough to open. So just like, surely I'll draw into another. And I just saw all the units instead.
Right.
Which happens.
And hopefully our breakdown and that gameplay gave you guys a good idea of what to expect for your beta events. I hope you guys have a great time. Let me know how it all goes in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.